time on Custom Works, what we're going to be looking at is the running boards on the F100, and also I'm going to be showing you how you can make a cool sun visor from the boot of a taxi. So let's get into the workshop. So here we are, the running boards. Wow. Now what I was going to do with the running boards is I thought I'll just get them folded up in one piece of 4mm steel, really strong, so if it ever bottoms out on a speed bump it's going to be strong enough. And I drew up a very technical drawing, did a lot of measurements, had it cut, folded and a little bit rolled on it, and wow, it was so wrong. All down to me, all down to my poor measurements. And you know what? The measurements on this, it was out and it didn't fit. But it was out by, I bet it was never out by any more than 10mm. So I had to cut it into lots of pieces and it's been very difficult. But da-na, here it is. Nice, strong, load-bearing running board. It really has been a bit of a nightmare. So if we open the door, you can see inside, this is the skirt of it. It's welded to a jacking point just here, and then I've put some box section certainly underneath at the back, and I've welded it to the original body outrigger at the front, and now it's very very strong. To take it to the floor here, I welded like an angle so it holds on, and then that's been glassed to this floor, because this floor is, you know what I mean, it's just pretty flimsy steel, so just to bolster that with like 5 layers of fiberglass has made that step a lot stronger. You know, a lot of the time if you're just welding very thick metal to very thin metal, it's only going to be as strong as the thin metal. Anyway, we've got all that done and it's looking pretty cool. Also back here, I had to cut this down and box this in. This has all been welded and then glassed up to the fiberglass components. And also that's hiding a lot of the framework that's making that a lot stronger. Oh, and also, in my genius of measuring, check it out. It's like 50mm short. I have to make a bit and weld it in. Measure twice, cut once, or in my case, measure twice and still get it wrong. Moving up to the front here, we're going to exit the exhaust out the bottom of the front fender, and we've got this thin piece of exhaust, and I'm just waiting for some massive 5-inch stainless tip to put on here, so this should look pretty awesome. I've just got to check the clearance so I can still get full lock on the wheels and it doesn't catch this. So moving around to this side, I've mopped it up. Again, this was a lovely fold, you see, and I've had to cut it because it just runs out too much. It's looking pretty good at the moment. At the moment I've got 2 jacks under it, a brick and a piece of wood. Same piece of wood both ends to give it this this height, which is about 5 inches. I always reckon if the lowest part of a car is 5 inches off the road, you can pretty much get around, you know, anything, as long as it's not like your front bumper, because that's going to catch. But in the middle, this should be okay. What I'm about to do now, I'm going to weld this plate in, and then inside again, I'm going to glass the skirt into the floor of the car. And then once that's all dried, particularly the fiberglass, what I'm going to do is get under the car and weld in the 2x2 box section brackets that actually fully support this running board. Okay then, so what we're going to do here, the running boards on the truck were really hard to make. We had to make those in steel, and there was a lot of fabrication, but we've made them now, and they're very complicated shape. So what we're going to do is take a mould off of the car, and hopefully we're going to get a fiberglass mould off of the car, and then we'll be able to make lots more. So what we have done, we have covered the whole of the running board in masking tape, and we have waxed that masking tape. And then what we're going to do is apply a gel coat to it. So here we go, the gel coat going on there nicely. We have waxed I don't know if it's going to, you know, make any difference, but we have waxed the masking tape and it feels pretty slippery, so I'm hoping all of this is just going to pop off and that we're not going to have to just butcher it off. This is something never actually done, so let's hope it works. But you know, if you don't try, you never know. Alright, so it's the next day. We've let the fiberglass dry on the running boards. Hopefully this is going to just pop off of there and then we'll have a mould so we can make more in the future. Will it come off or not? I literally have no idea. Here's hoping though. Thank the Lord it actually worked, because oh my god, if that just got glued on there, what a nightmare. But there it is. Now we've got a mould that we can make that whole section in fiberglass, reinforce that with steel, and next time that's just going to slot straight on there like no problem, rather than doing all that steel fabrication. Okay then, so as you've seen on some of my other projects, Rusty Taxi and the Standard Ensign, I do like to make a sun visor out of this part of the taxi boot. Mainly through, you know, pure necessity, because I've always had these laying around, because I've done a few things with taxis. Not exclusively, but I've done a few. So what I'm going to do with this is mark it, I'm going to cut it up. So first I'm going to mark from the number plate aperture, just mark that there, and then that looks about square there. Don't have to be too accurate. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut across there, and then we'll get it off this seam round here, and then we'll have the start of a really cool sun visor. So there we go, that is the bit you want already. It's looking pretty good. What we need to do is take these two pressings out, so I'll just do that. We've cut those two sort of dimples out, and now I'm going to cut it in half. So let's go and offer it up to the taxi. Okay, so I know it is hard to get your head around at the minute, and it looks a bit like, what, WTF? 100. But you know, this will be a really cool sun visor when it's done. But that's the first bit. If you look down this, you know, this has got a really great compound curve to it, and that really does help with a sun visor. You know, you could be English wheeling this for hours to get this sort of curve, but hey, we got it here because it was just on the boot of the taxi and it was going in the bin anyway, so a little bit more work and this is going to be absolutely awesome. So just in case, here's one I did earlier. This is on Formula Tron, the unfinished project that's sitting in the back of my workshop while I do a few paid jobs. And this is made from a boot lid. You see this has got the compound curve to it. So we're looking for something like that, but a bit wider. And, you know, don't forget everyone, this is just a London taxi as well. However, this has got a 4 litre V8 and 24-inch rims, but anyway. Okay, and so I'm taking this annoying bump out of the roof of the taxi. This like sort of press piece is a bit that holds that light thing on the taxi, and obviously that's got to go. So I've cut this out with the angle grinder. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to plasma cut a piece of steel that will fit here, I'm going to use one of those like long plasterers jacks to jack it up underneath. I'm going to weld this into the roof and then fill it, and then we'll start looking at the sun visor. Right, and so we plasma cut the plate and we've welded it in the roof. Now it's time to just give that a quick grind and we'll fill it, because once we've made the sun visor, we perhaps won't be able to get to that very easily. So I'll get that finished up right now, and then we'll move on to the sun visor. Okay then, so we've got the bottom of the boot lid. Was it the top of the boot lid? Who knows? I think it's the top of the boot lid. We've got it on there, and we're starting to, you know, sort of rough out this visor. So it's going to come like that, and then down there, there'll be a nice compound curve just there, and it's going to look great. What I've done here, as I previously said, cut it in half. On a taxi, you don't actually need to cut it in half. I think I was thinking of the last car I did, it was a little bit wider and I had to make it wider. On a taxi, no, you don't have to cut it in half. To attach it, if we look in here, what I've done, obviously I've filled the hole where the, you know, the bit for the light on the taxi used to be. I've filled that and bodyworked that. And then just using a little bit of super glue, I have glued this piece of plywood on, and then just with these wood screws attached that, and then packed it off the windscreen with these blocks of wood. The bit of wood glued onto the front of the roof just gives you, it's like a third pair of hands. You know, you can just get this done on your own, and you can get it all sort of figured out and just rough it out until it looks right. Okay then, so as you can see on this sun visor, we have sun visor here, block of wood holding it off, and there's a bit of a gap here, so we need to fill that gap. So what I'm going to do, through the table saw, I've ran some of this dye bond, which is like it's plastic in the middle, and then it's got two bits of aluminium either side, like a composite material. So what I'm going to do to make this shape, and do this, and it's got a bend round there, so I've snapped it. So just a bit of a subtle bend to it there. I mean, that's not far off, it won't sit in the gutter. So that's from there to there. I apologise about the sound of the compressor in the background. That's looking about right. Now, what I want to do, this line here has got a curve to it, so I want this to follow that line. So, the activator for the glue over here. What I'm doing, I'm looking at that so it's nice and in line with the other line of that. And then we've got that bottom line there, and then we just need to make this top line, so it's about there. Okay, so we've got like a rough framework there, you know, nothing particularly special, just a bit of a framework. But dye eye across there, and I see this, yeah, it gives a nice compound curve. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cover it in aluminium foil tape. I've covered it in the aluminium tape. I've roughed this edge up a bit because that's where we're going to fiberglass to, and then let's get this glassed in. so I'm mixing some filler now, and on these sun visors we're going to make that corner with the compound curve really smooth and nice. At this stage on a car, what you've always got to have is what I call a filler dump. So I don't mind mixing quite a large amount of filler, because I know there's loads of places that need filler on the car. I know where they are, and if at the end of this I've got too much, I can just go and put the excess in that part, and we never end up with any wasted filler. So I have still got this screw here, and this is holding to this piece of wood that's super glued to the body, and that's just giving us, that's just acting as a temporary support. So I'll sort of fill up to that, and here we go. Okay, so on stuff like this, you're going to look at this, and if you're, standing there with a bit of like, 120 paper and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be sanding it forever. Really, don't ever bother with out like that. You want this, which is, I don't know, little styrofoam scraper thing, and then sand it up, always with 40 grit. I always do. I sand everything up in 40 grit, then I go over it with high build primer. So as far as shaping filler goes, only this and 40 grit. So, shape it nice and easy. So we worked this to a sort of basic shape with the little surf form, and now we've put a bit more filler on it, and just with some 40 grit and the long bed sander, we've got quite a nice shape there. Over the other side, there's some filler over this join, and this line's starting to come together. Still a little bit wonky there, but we'll get that nice. It'll be prepped, primed and painted, and then we'll take a fiberglass mould off of this. So this truck will have a fiberglass sun visor, and we'll actually get rid of this one and we'll bolt it on. So when we next make a truck, we've got the mould for the sun visor right there, and we don't have to cut up any taxi boots ever again. Okay, so here we are in the paint booth. Now I've hit it with, I don't know, probably like a couple of litres of high build primer that will flat down. Then we'll make sure this fits on the car, and then we're going to take a fiberglass mould off of this so that we can make this sun visor over and over and over again. Alright, so this is the sun visor for the truck, and we've got a mould here, and we're just about to take the visor out of the mould, so let's hope this comes out nice and easy. Oh yes, another top result. So that's it for this week on Custom Works. Join us next time. We'll be doing more work on the WTF1. And if you like what you've seen, press subscribe, click the bell icon for regular updates. Also give us a thumbs up, and leave comments in the comments below. Until next time, goodbye.